So to begin with, my topic is why you don't need an ICO, why anybody at all don't need an ICO. I really like the audience, and I'm really grateful to the organizers. So I would like to make a selfie with you guys. If you will smile, I will appreciate that. Okay, thank you. And now to the topic. Why I do believe that nobody needs an ICO. Because, as you probably know, an ICO is just a crowdfunding tool. And as a crowdfunding tool, it's just another way to, raise some money. We have several projects that deal with ICOs. And you probably heard about ICO Bench. It's a rating platform for ICOs, and we have like over 1,000 projects on that platform. So we are pretty much aware of the projects that do ICOs. And those projects, they usually come with some innovative idea, and they want to receive money to implement this idea. But unfortunately, sometimes their team members don't realize how much effort and how much resources they need to run an ICO campaign. And that's where we are helping them. We are a consulting agency called Eberhard Linford. You can see our website at elico.me, and you can learn a lot of useful info there. And we also have other projects. We have a twin of Fibrazi, which is called Crypto France. You probably heard about it. And we have Iconic Show. This is a very original project in the art sphere. It's not really connected to ICOs, but you can get an idea of what an innovation is when you saw something like Iconic. So what is an ICO? As I have a master's degree in linguistics, so for me, the vocabulary is very important. ICO is a fundraising tool, as I already told you, that trades crypto coins in exchange for cryptocurrencies of immediate liquid value. I think that most of you understand what it is. And I have some references here, like, for example, Financial Times calls ICOs unregulated issuance of crypto coins, where investors can raise money in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. What does that mean? The key word, you see it in bold, actually. It's unregulated. It means that we don't have any rules, actually, regulating the market. What does it mean? It means risks for everybody who is in that business. It risks, not only for those who run the campaign, but for investors, for people who even trade those tokens. It's a big risk. And that's what we are considering when we talk about ICOs. That's the first issue that you need to keep in mind. What else? We know that ICO is for money, right? It's not a secret. Everybody knows that. So for investors, an ICO campaign usually is a hope that tokens produced for that ICO campaign will raise in value. How does that usually happen? I think you know that to be successful, any ICO needs to be listed on exchanges. And so what happens then? Coins or tokens are being traded, and if they attract a lot of people, then the value can grow. But it's not guaranteed, right? Your token can never raise in value. It depends. And to make your coin or token raise in value, you need to invest in it. So now let's switch a little bit to the topic, who needs ICOs? We can divide all people who need ICOs into three subcategories. The first and the most probably interesting figure here is actually the project. So the team who wants to raise money, they are the key figures, right? The second is the pool of investors, people who believe in the idea, people who want to give money and who want actually to receive their money back. I mean, you probably all understand that people who invest in your project want to get some money back, right? And then who else? Those nice people who actually trade your tokens and who make their money, you know, just selling and buying your tokens. So for those three categories also, we can say that they want to participate in an ICO just to make money. And they want to get a secure way to get their money. So when you are thinking about having an ICO campaign, the question you have to answer is how we gonna guarantee that our investors receive their money back. That's very important questions, and from my experience of helping different ICOs, they usually don't really understand how important the question is. And, you know, people are concentrated on their technology, on their innovation, on their idea, but they rarely think about their obligations to investors. And that's actually the problem. And the problem is that there is nobody who can guarantee that your ICO will be successful and that your ICO will bring money to your investors. Unlike in regulated world, for example, in IPOs, there is a regulator who guarantees that you at least don't lose your money. So maybe you should consider some other ways of raising money. Now, a little bit more about risks and about ways how we can actually minimize those risks. As you probably know, in ICO world, there are lots of scam projects. I don't know if you're familiar with the statistics, but for 2017, there are 47% of failed ICOs. It's almost a half of all the projects. So, I mean, not all of them are scams, actually, but 47% either failed to raise money, failed to implement their technology, or failed to keep their obligations to investors. And it's, you know, it's a pretty big number if you consider that it's actually business. And as a business, any ICO is responsible to people, to investors, to even their team members. Another good point here is general incompetence. As you probably know, innovative markets attract young people. And young people usually don't have enough experience, expertise, and knowledge to run businesses. That's what happens to, say, 20% of ICOs. Because their teams are so young and incompetent, they lose money and they lose trust. And in the blockchain industry, the trust is in the top. Well, another sad story is lack of technology, finance, and legal background. That's, again, about the industry itself and about ICOs. I don't know, get good advisors. For example, we on ICO Bench have like thousands of advisors who really have competence, who really have background in technology, finance, and legal questions. For example, I mean, you can just go and check out, but not only our agency provides this service. There are professional advisors in probably any agency that helps to run an ICO. So my advice here is to find an expert who can help your ICO to be successful. And just don't be greedy and pay them well. What else? We probably all know that crypto industry itself is associated with illegal activities. You probably know the history, and I know that most of you did heard, or at least, maybe noted somehow the book which is called Digital Gold, which tells the history of the blockchain industry. And you probably all know that Bitcoin started with Silk Road. So Silk Road associated with drugs, illegal activities, sponsoring terrorism, and stuff like that. And so ICOs also associated with all those bad topics. And when you start an ICO campaign, you need to understand that people who do know nothing about ICOs will be associating your project with illegal activities. Now let's talk a little bit about finance. As I already mentioned, running an ICO campaign requires lots of effort, lots of understanding, and actually lots of money. Just to start a campaign, you need around $500,000. What for? For marketing, for PR activities. Because nobody's going to buy your token just because it's nice or just because it's a new technology on the market. You need to sell it. And to sell it, you need a strong marketing strategy. Again, there are lots of players on the market who can help you with your strategy. And for example, we partner with 7 markets. Yakub Brahimov just told you a little bit about their activity. But there are many others as well. At ICO Bench, we have more than 70 agencies that do marketing for ICOs. Again, please just go to the experts and specialists. Don't be afraid to attract people that really understand how to do an ICO. Again, this is like a risk for ICOs, but there are also a lot of risks for investors. And for investors, the only advice you can get here is just be wise, just get as much information as possible about an ICO you're going to invest in, and make sure you believe in their idea, because this is the most important part. If you personally don't believe in the idea, then you probably should not get in, because I don't know, there is no way to be sure that an ICO is going to be successful. Just no way. Nobody can guarantee that. But if you personally believe that the idea is worthy and that the team is worthy, then you can go and spend your money on that, right? So that's the only advice I can give you. Now again, I will just mention our company. It's called Eberhard Linford. I know the name is a little, tough to pronounce and tough to remember. That's why I'm only putting the website contact email. It's contact@elico.me. And ICO-Bench.com, you probably all know that website. Contact us if you have any questions anytime. We'll be glad to answer. I still have 3 minutes left, and I would ask people just ask questions if they have.
Yeah, let's do that together then.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions to ICO Bench? What other services do you provide at your main company?
We are a consulting agency, so we usually help at all the stages that ICO has, starting with the strategy and then finding all the needed agents to make an ICO a success. For example, we find legal partners, we find marketing partners, and we usually, what we do, we build a team around an ICO.
Cool. Still you don't have any questions?
Not a good advertising.
Now they have questions.
Now they have questions.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I saw you first. Let's start from there. Can we get a microphone there, please? And also, can I get my cards? Just the last one would be enough.
I'm sorry if I'm, confusing people with...
Everything is fine. Don't
Okay.
worry. Don't worry.
Thanks. Ahmet Eralçın from
Teşekkür
Koç
ederim, sağ ol.
University. My question is, what is the time frame for a ICO from the beginning to the end? How long does it take?
How long does it take?
Yes, to
Okay,
complete it.
thank you for your question. Well, it depends on the project, actually. You can run your ICO campaign in like 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months. It heavily depends on the project itself, and usually on how much money you want to raise. Because the more money you want to raise, the longer should your campaign last, right? Did I answer your question?
And there was one more question. We can get that quickly as well. Microphone. It was a quick question and quick answer. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Do you think, hi, Selahattin Urfalı. Do you think the ICO money, the governments should put an escrow accounts for the ICO collected money and released by some milestones, like in the construction industry, before, like 25 years before, like any developer could collect money and they can, when they make, like they can make the building or not, they were collecting, they were selling the flats, like before they are building the place. Now it is different in construction industry. Whatever money you are collecting before you make the building, you can spend whatever you are spending, or you are making the building, and you are at the 3rd floor, you can take some money from the escrow account.
Yeah.
Do you think in ICO funds also, the funds which you are going to collect from ICOs, will there be government rules with the milestone you can take your money from escrow account in the worldwide, because you're from, I don't know where you're from, but...
I'm from Russia.
We got the question, actually. Yeah, but I think smart contracts are built for that, but I want to hear your
Yeah,
answer.
I think that actually...
For example, Russia government, do they have something like this, like milestone for the escrow accounts for the ICO funds?
No, they don't. And in Russia right now, the ICO market is unregulated. But I think that, yeah, probably Ardo is right. Smart contracts are just doing fine for that. And it's not a question about like having a third party, like escrow agent, right? It's not that. It's about the trust in general, I think.
Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you.
Nice having you here. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for organizing the event.
Probably we're going to see each other soon at some other events.